Hello! So today, releasing Power Renamer 25. Um, there's a lot that happened since the latest version. So I guess the easiest way to tell you what it does is to just show you. So I'm just gonna load in a Fusion comp, just your typical sort of average comp with loaders and tools and savers and stuff. And then we'll launch Power Renamer. And this is what it looks like when you launch it. It's pretty straightforward. It's a renamer. That's the basis of it. So you've got a search, a replace, and some options. So what you can do is basically you load it up, and then why don't we just add everything that's in the comp and that Power Renamer can deal with by pressing Add All. So going to check the comp. These are all the tools that it finds. And the nice thing about it is that when you see, you can obviously sort and everything. So you see all the paths, all the that are valid, that are in there. So green means this is a valid path. In rename and copy mode, because we are working with actual files on disk, you won't see nodes show up that have invalid paths. Right? There's another mode for that called node paths. Because renaming and copying files that don't exist, you can't do that. So that's why. So these will typically all be green, because otherwise they wouldn't have been in here. Right. So another nice thing about Power Renamer, I think, is when you see, for example, there's a mat here. You can double click on it, and it will actually jump to the node in the comp. Basically, as best it can. It doesn't really center it. You may look into that for another version, but it will, it'll have a little red line around it, which is clear enough, I guess. So you can jump around the comp by your paths, which is handy. Anyway, let's just rename something, because that's what we're trying to do now. So quite simply, I'm just going to type Power Renamer. You see, as soon as I start typing, there's a lot already going on. I'll put Power Renamer in there. And as I type it, you can see it sort of disappear on the other side, because what's happening is I'm replacing Power Renamer by nothing. So if I want to rename it, I want to replace it. Not suck less Power Renamer. There you go. So I can do that, and then it says potential file conflicts detected. Right. So what might those be? You can kind of see in the description here. It's purple. So it's duplicate. So what that means is that we're renaming files to basically the same path on disk. Now, I'm just going to override that. And the tool is actually going to solve this for us. So basically, we're going to rename paths on disk just once. You can do it. If you want to do it multiple times, you can. But especially with copy operations, that can get quite slow. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's just And then these, the deselected files, they're muted color. So we can see immediately, okay, well, there are duplicates, but the duplicates themselves are deselected. Here, they won't be changed. And then I'm just gonna rename. So let's make sure that we can see here what happens. So we've got one of the paths here. Just gonna rename up. It's gonna rename the files. So it's renaming a ton of files on disk right now. Up, tuning up, and there we go. We've got Suckless Power Renamer in there. Another thing that happens now, as you can see, and this is where I go back with the green paths, is so it reloads the results into Power Renamer. So we've got them all here. They're now called Suckless Power Renamer on disk. But there are fewer of them because we skipped the ones that were duplicates. So so what we can do now is we can turn off node paths, right? And then you see that those tools, they haven't been done. So we need to basically redo them in the node paths mode, unless in the previous step we would have selected them as well. And this is neat about a new version. We can do that really quickly because the new version has a history. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So just select that, and then what we see then, this is obviously my mistake, because silly me, instead of giving it a completely different name, I gave it a name that has Power Renamer in it. So we're gonna specify it a little bit more. So instead of Power Renamer, we're gonna do backslash Power Renamer in node paths mode. And then here we see, that was another thing. So this one, Power Renamer, it remembers the modes as well. So it was just a simple rename. So if I select the, what's it called, the previously used one, the node paths mode will be off. So we need to double check that. That is something that I'm looking for feedback for as well. Because I have been sort of hovering back and forth between whether I should include these into the recently used ones or not. I find it most often handy, but sometimes, like in this case, it's really not. So you tell me. Anyway, so instead of Power Renamer, we do backslash Power Renamer, because on the previously renamed files, backslash Power Renamer doesn't exist. So that way we can isolate out these. So here again, two potential conflicts detected. See the console for details. So these orange ones, this orange is a warning, not an error. It's not a real conflict. It's a potential conflict. So we don't have to use any of these, but you can if you want to, right? You can skip the duplicates or not. So these warnings do say always see console for details. So you can see that there's quite a bit of output from the Power Renamer. So when there are conflicts, it will tell you why there is a conflict. So I've tried to make it as clear as possible to figure out, what's happening all the time. So, needless to say, now we've got these. We can update the node paths. So what we can do is we can jump to this one. So this is a lot. Indeed, this one is still to Power Renamer. we can, I'll just leave that standing here, update the node paths, blah, blah. It does a couple of checks and then, oops, it's going, loaded. Well, that's an error from whatever it is. Ooh, I made a mistake. Looky here, I forgot, of course, to replace it with a backslash. So, haha, guess what we have? An undo operation. So, undo, it's getting back in there. So here is now the node paths setting is in there, and instead of backslash power renamer, replace it with suckless power renamer. Backslash. There we go. And now we update it. Et voila. And now we're all good. And all the parts are green. And, all these files have now been changed on disk. And if you want, so this is a full sort of internal undo stack that doesn't, it's separate from Fusion's undo stack on purpose because it does some neat things, which you will see. Look, I'm now undoing all the renames that I've done before, and it's I've tested it many times. I believe it's sort of 99.9% reliable, and there's always things that can happen. There are things that can happen on disk in between undos and redos, but now we're back. We're completely back at the start. Anyway, that's the beginning of the power renamer. I'm going to leave it at this for now, and I'm going to do other features in other videos because I am a fan of short videos. Anyway, I'm going to, right now, I'm just going to upload this to We Suck Less, and then you can all have a go with it. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.